ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ। ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਦੇ 8 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਧ ਗਿਆ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੌਫਟ ਔਨ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੇਲ ਲੈਣੀ ਸੌਖੀ ਕਰਤੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਇੰਨੇ ਵੱਧ ਗਏ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਚਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਕਸਟੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੇਬਰਸ 'ਤੇ, ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ 'ਤੇ, ਉਹ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਅਟੈਕ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ। ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਸਖਤ ਪੈਨਲਟੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। After 8 years of Justin Trudeau's soft on crime, catch and release policies, violent crime has skyrocketed in Canada. And we have seen extortion increase to levels that we've never seen in Canada before. These business owners are our neighbors and our friends, and they're being attacked by international gangsters. This issue will be addressed by a future Conservative government and by the future Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Tim. Et merci, Jesse Sahoda, notre candidat dans le comté de Delta, et un policier qui nous a donné beaucoup de conseils en ce qui concerne le combat contre la crise de criminalité de Justin Trudeau. Après 8 ans de Trudeau et les néo-démocrates en coalition, tout coûte plus cher. C'est pour ça que 2 millions de Canadiens sont forcés d'aller à une banque alimentaire chaque mois au Canada, un record de loin. Après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, les taux d'intérêt ont augmenté plus rapidement que dans l'histoire moderne et les gens risquent à perdre leur maison. Ces déficits records gonflent les taux d'intérêt et le coût de la vie. Après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, le travail ne paie plus. Vous travaillez pour gagner, lui, il prend votre argent. Après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, le coût de logement a doublé à travers le Canada. En fait, au Québec, on a vu une augmentation dans le loyer massif. Depuis son arrivée au pouvoir, Justin Trudeau a doublé le coût, il a triplé le loyer à Montréal. Et tous les politiques qui ont causé ces misères économiques sont supportés par le Bloc. Le Bloc est pour les augmentations de taxes, les déficits inflationnistes et le financement des bureaucrates qui empêchent la construction. Ça, le Parti conservateur de gros bon sens va contrôler les dépenses, couper les taxes et impôts et enlever la bureaucratie pour bâtir des logements abordables pour les Québécois. Et après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, avec l'appui du Bloc, la criminalité est une crise à travers tout le pays. En fait, Trudeau, avec l'appui du Bloc, a causé une augmentation massive dans les extorsions. L'extorsion a augmenté de 218%. Les politiques imprudentes de Trudeau ont entraîné une hausse de 39% des crimes violents. Les villes, les banlieues, autrefois sécuritaires et tranquilles, sont désormais terrorisées par des gangs étrangers qui menacent nos voisins avec des actes violents et des incendies criminels. Les taux d'extorsion déclarés par les policiers a augmenté pour la troisième année consécutive en 2022. Le taux d'extorsion était 5 fois plus élevé en 2022 que 10 ans auparavant. C'est ça le bilan de Justin Trudeau. Il s'agit d'un problème particulier en Ontario, en Alberta et en Colombie-Britannique, où on a vu une augmentation de plus de 200% dans toutes ces juridictions. Ce n'était pas le cas avant Justin Trudeau. Ces politiques ont facilité des gangs, la crime organisée et les gestes violents. La cause, c'est les politiques de Justin Trudeau, appuyées sur le Bloc. Le Code criminel fédéral qui permet des criminels d'agir librement et fédéral. La GRC qui est chargée d'attraper ces criminels est fédérale. Justin Trudeau a adopté la loi C5 avec l'appui du Bloc. qui supprime la peine d'emprisonnement obligatoire pour avoir commis une extorsion avec une arme à feu. Écoutez, Justin Trudeau et le Bloc ont enlevé des peines de prison pour des gens qui font l'extorsion avec une arme. Et c'est pour ça que ces gangs peuvent le faire. C'est à cause du Bloc et Justin Trudeau. En outre, Justin Trudeau a adopté C-75 qui permet ces mêmes criminels violents de faire une extorsion, d'être arrêtés et d'être libérés sous caution quelques heures plus tard. Et tout ça avec l'appui total du Bloc. La solution, de gros bon sens, c'est le plan des conservateurs. De 1, nous établirons une peine d'emprisonnement obligatoire de 3 ans pour tout criminel reconnu coupable d'extorsion. Nous instaurons une peine d'emprisonnement obligatoire de 5 ans pour tout criminel reconnu coupable d'extorsion qui agit pour le compte d'une gang ou du crime organisé. Cela signifie non seulement que les criminels qui commettent les crimes iront en prison, mais aussi que les procureurs et les policiers disposeront d'un outil supplémentaire pour poursuivre des dirigeants de ces organisations criminelles. 3. Nous rétablirons les peines d'emprisonnement obligatoires de 4 ans pour le délit d'extorsion à l'aide d'une arme à feu. Ça, c'est la pénalité que Trudeau et le Bloc ont enlevée. 4. Nous ferons de l'incendie criminel une circonstance aggravante pour l'accusation d'extorsion. 5. Nous réparerons les dégâts causés par la loi C-75 et rétablirons l'emprisonnement et non pas la libération sous caution pour des récidivistes. Donc, nos priorités, de gros bon sens des conservateurs, couper taxes et impôts, bâtir des maisons et appartements, réparer le budget et stopper le crime. Encore, couper taxes et impôts, bâtir de logements, réparer le budget et stopper le crime. C'est ça le gros bon sens, c'est ce que nous allons faire. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, now in English. Before I begin, I'd like to thank my great deputy leader, common sense conservative Tim Uppal, who's helped me draft this common sense plan to combat extortion, and police officer and conservative candidate for Delta, Jesse Sahota, who is also, I might add, a championship wrestler. So he is here today. He'll be providing security in case things get out of line. He unfortunately suffered a small injury, which took him out of wrestling but brought him into politics. So we didn't want to see him get hurt, but we did want to see him get into politics. And what a great common sense voice he will be for Delta. And that's what we need, because after 8 years of Justin Trudeau and the NDP, everything costs more. His inflationary deficits and taxes have driven up in the cost of living faster than at any time in 40 years, forcing 2 million Canadians every month to go to a food bank. Surrey food banks are overflowing with people, running out of food because people can no longer afford to give, and there's so many people demanding the food. Have you seen that, Jesse?
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. The Sikh community has been wonderful in its generosity in opening up wonderful food banks, but they're under immense strain because of Trudeau and the NDP driving up the cost of living. Work no longer pays. You make it, Trudeau takes it. Housing costs have doubled under Trudeau and the NDP, to the point where Vancouver is now the 3rd most expensive housing market in the world. Let me $168. Now it's $3,528. According to National Bank, it now takes 29 years for the average Vancouverite to save up for a down payment. Before Trudeau and the NDP, you could pay off your mortgage in less than that time. Vancouver has the highest average asking rents of any municipality tracked. And what does the government do? The City of Vancouver adds $1.3 million to the cost of every newly built home with its heavy red tape and regulation and taxes. And so what does Trudeau do? I would punish the city of Vancouver for blocking home building. I would give them fines for their incompetence. Justin Trudeau and his incompetent housing minister, who ruined our immigration system, give more money to Vancouver City Hall so they can hire more bureaucrats to block more home building. And today, the incompetent Sean Fraser, who destroyed our immigration system with his terrible decisions and caused chaos in our communities, now is our housing minister. He's going to show up with yet another photo op and another big check. He is the worst immigration minister we ever had, and he is turning out to be the worst housing minister we've ever had. And I hope the media will not just throw him softball questions and throw rose petals at him as the media. I know the media out here is much better than the bought and paid for Ottawa Press Gallery, so we know they'll do better. But the worst problem, though, is crime and chaos is running rampant out of control after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. Extortion has risen by 218% under Trudeau and the NDP. That's a tripling of the number of people who've been threatened. Small businesses in communities like this one getting letters that if they don't sign over their life savings to foreign criminal networks, they'll have fire bombs thrown through their windows. Their kids will be kidnapped. Bullets will fly through the windows of their homes. This is insane. And it should not be happening in Canada. But yet, after 8 years of Trudeau and the NDP catch and release policy, it is everywhere. In fact, extortion is up in Ontario by 263%, Alberta 284%, and British Columbia by 386%. Can you imagine that? A 386% increase in extortions of families who run, beautiful families who run businesses like this, getting letters knowing that their kids could be harmed if they don't sign over their life savings to a criminal that Trudeau has released out on bail. And what does the NDP do? They back Trudeau all the way. They back him on his inflationary spending, his doubling of housing costs, his quadrupling of the carbon tax, but worse, they back him on his criminal justice agenda. The NDP and Liberals brought in C5, which eliminated mandatory jail time for extortion with a weapon. Can you imagine how radical you have to be like Justin Trudeau and remove mandatory jail time for extortion with a gun? Justin Trudeau's message to you, extortionists, is that you can pull out a gun and use it to threaten a family and steal their life savings, and you won't face a mandatory prison sentence. That's C5. And then he brought in catch and release, so that even when the criminal is arrested, they are released within hours to do it all over again. Vancouver police had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. That's not according to me. It's according to a letter from the British Columbia Union of Mayors. Police officers like Jesse Sahota risk their lives to catch the criminal. And while Jesse and other great officers are just filling out the paperwork, they look up, and who is it? The same guy they arrested walking out the door. And a few hours later, they have to arrest him again. This is life after 8 years of Trudeau and the NDP. My common sense plan, drafted by Tim Uppal, is the following. We will establish mandatory prison sentences of 3 years for any criminal convicted of extortion. We will bring mandatory 5-year prison sentences for any criminal convicted of extortion who is acting on behalf of gangs or organized crime. Not only does this mean that criminals who carry out these crimes will go to prison, but it also means that prosecutors and cops will have another tool to go after the ringleaders of these organized criminals. 3, we will restore mandatory 4-year prison sentences for extortion with a firearm. This is the penalty that Trudeau and the NDP took away. We will make arson an aggravating factor in the commission of extortion. And we will reverse catch and release. We will bring in jail, not bail. Jail, not bail. Jail, not bail for repeat violent extortionists. This is a common sense plan. Common sense is our business in the Conservative Party. Our approach is very simple. Axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. Axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. Axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. Let's bring it home. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now have time for a few questions from the floor.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Poilievre. I'm Debbie Rai from Connect FM. So this is regarding one of the incidents that you just mentioned, that there's been a rise in the attacks as well. Other than the extortion, there have been attacks as well on the Sikh community primarily. And a latest incident was just recorded a few days ago, where one of the community members, his house was attacked, his car, and the bullets were shot right inside his house, and his 6-year-old child had a narrow escape. So after this incident, Mr. Muninder Singh, who is the spokesman for the Gurdwara Council, he held a press conference, and I was also a part of it. And then he expressed his disappointment over one of your statements. He said that last year, after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he made a statement that in Hardeep Nijjar's case, Indian elements were involved, and he said that initially Mr. Poilievre, he agreed with the statement of Mr. Trudeau, but within 24 hours, he retracted from the statement. And he started expressing his alignment more towards India, and he started saying that, till the time we don't have any solid proof, we just cannot, keep on putting blames to another country. So he said that the entire community was disappointed with the stance of Mr. Poilievre. So what do you want to clarify on this stance?
Sir, that is false. Our position has remained the same. We condemn the killing in this case, as we condemn all killings. We deplore any form of foreign interference. We call on the Indian government to cooperate with the investigation. And by the way, we want to bring in a foreign agent registry that Justin Trudeau and the NDP have opposed, which would expose any foreign agents that operate in this country. We want the facts to come out in this case. And what we're really worried about, and this is the point I've been making, is why have there been no arrests? Why have there been no arrests? After all this time, the United States was able to carry out arrests. They made allegations against India, and they had arrests within 1 week. Why has Justin Trudeau's federal RCMP not arrested the murderers? Justin Trudeau is not protecting the Sikh community. After 8 years of Trudeau, we have extortions, assassinations, carjackings, car thefts, home invasions. All of these things happen after 8 years of Justin Trudeau, and he's done nothing to protect against foreign interference by any regime. So only the common sense conservatives will crack down on foreign interference with a foreign agent registry to expose anyone who's working for a foreign government in this country. We will fix the RCMP so that they carry out arrests when people get murdered. And we will have a stronger intelligence to block foreign interference by any other country. I don't remember hearing about these problems before Justin Trudeau came along. And so far, despite Justin Trudeau's grandstanding, he hasn't actually taken any action to protect the Sikh community. So if you want protection, you have to elect a common sense conservative government that will bring home safety to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Good morning, Mr. Poilievre. This is Parmeet from Red FM, and thank you so much for making this announcement. My question to you is, you must have probably heard it like many times, as you are talking about carjacking, extortion, arson cases, and the car theft. So there's a different crime, and it needs to be targeted differently. Do you think that your reform, and what are you suggesting, that kinds like one shoes doesn't fit all? Do you think that there should be root level monitoring, scrutiny, and then there should be model made?
What do you mean by root level? Sorry.
Root level, because like in Surrey, there's a different kind of crime. As you have mentioned, organized crime. In Ontario,
Right.
It's a different kind of crime. So what we are expecting, that there should be stop to a crime, and how to handle that actually.
Yes, you're right. We have to stop the crime that has raged out of control after 8 years of Trudeau. Justin Trudeau has made Canada a playground for organized crime, money laundering, foreign interference, and the result is that our people are facing the danger. He has mismanaged the RCMP and politicized the RCMP. His focus has been on avoiding getting charged himself because of his own law breaking, and instead of protecting Canadians. So not only will we crack down on the extortion that he has unleashed by toughening criminal sentences for them and taking the extortionists off the street, but we will get the RCMP back to fighting organized crime and protecting Canadians against extortion, assassinations, carjackings, human trafficking, and all the other crimes that have raged out of control over the last 8 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Paul Gill, Sachdeva's newspaper.
Thank you.
Welcome to sunny Surrey.
Thank you.
In this, the Common Sense program, and the 3 years, the 5 years, the 4 years, and the 5 years for arson and extortion, these are all for criminals that are caught. But the latest shooting that happened in Delta were people that were underage. They were 16, 17-year-old kids. What is in the Common Sense program to stop that our kids are not recruited at that age going into these crimes rather than putting into prison? What is the Common Sense program that we have so that the kids can be safe and the gangs do not recruit them?
Well, first of all, we need a stronger crackdown on the gangs themselves, because what's happening is that gangs are preying on vulnerable youth whose families are under incredible strain because their parents can't afford to feed them anymore. So mom and dad are forced to work 2 or 3 jobs to pay the rent and buy groceries after 8 years of just inflation. And so the kids are then in a vulnerable state where the gangsters prey on them and say, listen, if you come join our gang, we can help your family pay the bills. So there's 2 solutions. One, we have to reverse the inflation that Justin Trudeau has caused, and so that families can afford to pay their bills again. We need to axe the tax, build the homes, and fix the budget so Canadians can afford to pay their bills and have time, precious time, to be with their children. And 2, we need to crack down on the gangsters that prey on vulnerable youth. And my proposals will put these gangsters behind bars. I note that one of my proposals specifically deals with those criminals who carry out extortion on behalf of gangs and organized crime. If we can take them off the street, then they won't be able to prey on our kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next question.
Bonjour, Catherine Dib pour Radio-Canada. Ce serait concernant le régime d'assurance médicaments publics que propose le NPD. Ça permettrait de réduire le coût de la vie pour de nombreux Canadiens. Qu'est-ce que vous aimeriez voir comme couverture publique des médicaments au pays?
Mais premièrement, on n'a rien vu. C'est encore une autre promesse des néo-démocrates qui n'est pas livrée. Après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, la vie coûte plus cher. Et les néo-démocrates, la vie coûte plus cher, le travail n'est plus payant. Le coût de logement a doublé et on n'a pas de plan pour les médicaments. Donc, nous allons regarder ce qu'ils proposent et nous allons nous battre pour nous assurer que le plan imposé par la coalition coûteuse n'enlève pas la couverture privée que les Canadiens et surtout la classe ouvrière a avec leur emploi. Merci.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
You've talked about the imposition of mandatory minimums for many of these crimes, but mandatory minimums have consistently been struck down by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. How would you reconcile that policy with the court's findings in cases like that?
Well, many of our mandatory prison sentences have been upheld by the courts. And all of our proposals are charter-proof. They respect the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and we want laws that respect the rights of all Canadians, including and especially victims of crime. so it's a violation of your charter rights if you get your head smashed in with a baseball bat. It's a violation of your charter rights if somebody throws a firebomb into your child's bedroom in the middle of the night. It's a violation of your charter rights if you open a small business and you pour your life into it and somebody comes along and says, give me $1 million or I'll blow up your family. That's a violation of charter rights. So the 218% increase in extortions under Justin Trudeau has violated the charter rights of all of the victims. And so we know the courts will uphold our proposals today. We'll make sure of it. Thank you. We won't need to because it's all everything I'm proposing is constitutional.
Thank you. Next question.
Lindsay Duncombe, CBC. Today, the Supreme Court upheld the right of Indigenous peoples to run their own child welfare services. Would a future Conservative government continue what C92 put in motion, and would you consider additional legislation to affirm the right to Indigenous self-government in other areas? And if you could answer in both English and French, please.
Merci de la question. I'll start in English, I'll do French. Thank you for the question. We believe in more autonomy for First Nations communities and less paternalistic control by government. That includes in raising children. We're the only party that believes in parental rights, and we apply that across all Canadians. So we would respect the rights of First Nations families to raise their own children. You mentioned self-government. Yesterday I made an announcement that I would allow First Nations communities to collect half the federal corporate tax for projects that are on their ancestral and other recognized lands for which they have a deal with the business doing the work. So this will mean that a business comes to a First Nations community, they develop resources with that community, and they pay some of the federal tax to the local government that can be used to fight poverty, educate kids, create new jobs, and the business will be made whole by deducting the share that they pay to the First Nations from their federal obligations. In other words, this is a very simple principle. Less money for the federal government gatekeepers in Ottawa, more resources to fight poverty, create jobs, educate our youth, and give autonomy to First Nations. First Nations will bring home control of their lives and their money when I'm Prime Minister.
And in French, if we can have that.
Merci beaucoup. Nous croyons que les communautés autochtones devraient avoir plus d'autonomie en ce qui concerne le lever de leurs enfants et leurs familles. Nous sommes le seul parti qui croit dans les droits des parents, de tous les parents du Canada, y compris les parents autochtones. Et nous allons faire en sorte que les parents autochtones puissent lever leurs enfants avec leurs valeurs dans leur communauté. Hier, vous avez parlé d'autres questions de gouvernance locale. Hier, j'ai annoncé que des communautés autochtones vont pouvoir collectionner ou récolter la moitié des impôts d'entreprises qui font des projets de ressources naturelles sur leur terrain. Ça va encourager les communautés d'accepter ces projets et ça va faire en sorte que les bénéfices vont aller pour des communautés autochtones et non pas pour la bureaucratie à Ottawa. Plus de ressources pour combattre la pauvreté, pour créer des emplois et favoriser les communautés autochtones et moins de bureaucratie à Ottawa. C'est ça le gros bon sens.
Thank you. This will be the final question.
Hi, Jared Yeager from the Post Millennial. It was recently reported that Trudeau's own justice minister had his car stolen 3 times in as many years. If this isn't enough to convince the Liberals to take action and crack down on auto theft, what is?
It's just hard not to laugh at the irony of it. But you know, I have to say, these car thieves have no gratitude. Here the Justice Minister is letting them out of jail for stealing cars. You'd think that they would show him some courtesy in exchange, but instead they keep stealing his car. It's unbelievable. I would have thought that they would have been grateful to this Justice Minister for him letting them out of prison within hours of their arrest. But no, they are stealing his car too. And that is life after just 8 years of Justin Trudeau. Everybody is at risk now. These stories, we didn't have these stories before Trudeau. He has caused an explosion in car theft. Good news is that life wasn't like this before Trudeau, and it won't be like this after he's gone. Under the previous common sense Conservative government, we cut car theft by half. I'll say that again. We cut car theft by half. Anybody doubting whether or not these common sense policies I'm laying out work? Remember, we cut car theft by half. We cut violent crime by 25%. We brought down crime with our common sense policies. They work, they're proven. Let's bring it home. Thank you.